On Osrc News at 7.
Ondo State strengthens healthcare, launches emergency medical services.
ODHA tasks MDAs on realistic revenue targets as budget defense begins. Southern governors meet, engage traditional rulers for improved regional development. And from the foreign revised peace framework.
Good evening and welcome to the news. I am Obi Chukwemeka Oti. The Ondo State government has formally flagged off the emergency medical services and ambulance system aimed at strengthening rapid healthcare response across the state. Deputy Governor Dr. Laide Adelami led key government officials and stakeholders to the launch held at the International Culture and Event Center, the Dome in Akure. Government House correspondent Zime Bemi reports as presented by Kemsola Ojomo.
It was a convergence of health practitioners, security agencies, community leaders and other stakeholders for the official unveiling of the National Emergency Medical Services and Ambulance System, NEMSA, in Ondo State. Representing the governor, Lucky Ayedatiwa, the deputy governor, Dr. Laide Adelami, said the initiative reflects government's commitment to improving emergency healthcare delivery and ensuring swift intervention in life-threatening situations. He noted that the program will boost the state's health security architecture and improve access to prompt medical attention for residents in both urban and rural areas.
Many valuable lives are being lost on daily basis due to non-availability of timely help. In line with our HEAS development agenda, our administration has resolved to tackle these challenges, ensuring that lives of the people, of the good people of the state, regardless of status, rich or poor, are henceforth preserved from preventable death from any medical emergency.
Director General of National Emergency Services and Ambulance System, NEMSA, Ajia Fatima Shiroma, and the Federal Road Safety Corps Commandant in Ondo State, Dr. Samuel Ebitoye, commended the state government for taking a bold step towards strengthening emergency medical services in line with national efforts to enhance health outcomes.
It is imperative that we have a well-organized and efficiency system that can respond quickly to all types of medical emergencies, provide timely medical assistance to those in need. Today, with the launch of this emergency medical service and ambulance system, we take a significant step towards achieving that goal. Providing health coverage where no one is left behind.
Effort on how to save human beings on the road. Effort of how to reduce response time on the road can never be enough. So that's how I want to appreciate the governor and his team for onboarding potential to the national level.
The Commissioner for Health, Dr. Banji Ajaka, and the Special Advisor on Health, Professor Simidele Odimayo, highlighted the importance of a coordinated emergency response system in reducing preventable deaths and improving overall health care delivery.
And there is not the business of just the health sector alone, the personnel in the health sector alone. It is the business of everybody. Every single person in the state, is important in emergency response.
With this service, we will reduce response time to emergencies. We will be able to provide critical care that will save lives.
Goodwill messages also came from relevant stakeholders, all pledging support for the sustainability of the program. The event featured a practical demonstration showcasing the system's readiness to respond swiftly to emergencies. Kemisola Ojomu, OSRC News.
The Ondo State House of Assembly has charged ministries, departments and agencies of government to set realistic revenue targets and work diligently towards achieving the state's economic goals for the new fiscal year. The Speaker, Olamide Oladiji, while declaring open the 5-day legislative exercise, said it is imperative in order to ensure that proposals presented by various MDAs align with the needs and aspirations of residents. House of Assembly correspondent Omoshilola Desoyajai reports that OSRC Media Group was among the MDAs that appeared before the House.
Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa had earlier presented a budget estimate of 492,795,667,939 naira only to the House for the 2026 fiscal year, declaring the exercise open at the Assembly's mini chambers. The Speaker, Olamide Oladiji, said the government's ambition to reposition the state economy requires the commitment of all MDAs. Oladiji described the move as a crucial legislative process aimed at clarifying grey areas and ensuring that proposals presented by various agencies are in tandem with the needs and aspirations of residents.
To charge all the officials of the ministries, departments, agencies to fully cooperate with the Committee of Finance and Appropriation and individuals supervisory committee of this house, of this honorable house, to achieve a thorough job within the stipulated time frame. I assure the good people of Ondo State that this honorable house will painstakingly consider the budget, ensuring that it meets their needs and aspirations.
The chairman, House Committee on Finance and Appropriation, Oluwole Ogumolashi, assured that no MDA will be negatively affected, emphasizing that the welfare of the people remains the Assembly's priority. He therefore stressed the need for revenue-generating MDAs to step up efforts at meeting their independent revenue target, warning that demands for increased budgetary allocations would continue to be unrealistic if agencies failed to strengthen internally generated revenue and block financial leakages.
We also have to ensure that we block all the blockages that needs to be blocked, because it won't be fine for us to allow the revenue that's supposed to be coming to the pocket of Ondo State that will be benefit the entire state, rather than that should be going to one individual pocket.
Heads of MDAs, including the Ministry of Information, Owena Press Limited, Ministry of Infrastructure, Land and Housing, Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, as well as Ondo State Television Corporation Media Group, were among agencies that appeared before the committee. The Director General, Mr. Kenneth Odushola Stevenson, who led other management staff to the Assembly, expressed optimism that the corporation is on the path to greater growth despite operating under financial constraints. He further revealed that plans are underway to secure the corporation's presence on major cable platforms by next year, a move expected to boost revenue generation and significantly widen audience reach.
The few achievements we have received at OSRC is through the effort of everybody that had to make sacrifices because there was no money. But with the budget that's going on, I believe that by next year we'll be able to do a lot better if what we asked for had been given to us. And everyone should look out for a more reformed, stronger reforms. By next year we'll be on all these, on the cable platforms. And once you're on cable platforms, and we'll generate more money, draw more audience to the state, and then all government reforms and all the government programs will be all over the places. So you can expect a lot more. There are specific things. We can't be operating a transmitter of 20-something years, 27, 30 years, and expect to meet the same standard with all the other TV stations.
Hope Magazine. We now come out with the Hope Magazine monthly. However, we acknowledge the fact that the economy is straining. Yet, we need more government support. We need more funding to achieve our target of becoming a stable, durable national newspaper. And there are strong indications that the Ondo State government will stand by us in this noble cause.
The Ministry of Information and Orientation is developing an app of fake news in Ondo State, because fake news has done more damage to the state. So we want to, after developing this app will track fake news anywhere that is perpetrated in Ondo State, and we're able to trash it that as fake news, so that with that we will reduce quite a number of tensions in the state.
The 2026 fiscal appropriation tagged Budget of Economic Consolidation is expected to take care of ongoing infrastructure projects, strengthen education and health sector, and boost economic growth through strategic investment.
President Bola Tinubu has forwarded a list of 3 ambassadorial nominees to the Senate for confirmation. Senate President Godswill Akpabio announced their submission during plenary session. The nominees are Kayode Are from Ogun State, Aminu Dalhatu from Jigawa State, and Ayodele Oke from Oyo State. The President said that the nominations were made in accordance with the 1999 Constitution as amended. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has pledged a thorough probe into allegations of diversion of local government funds in Kogi State. This commitment follows a petition submitted to the Anti-Corruption Agency's headquarters by the Igala Youth Council, led by their president, Onogo Collins. In their petition, the group alleged significant unaccounted federal allocations intended for development across Kogi's 21 local government areas. They cited Dekina, Yagba East, and Adavi local government areas as illustrative examples. Addressing the protesters, the EFCC spokesperson, Dele Oyewale, assured the commission would act decisively. We'll go on this commercial break. When we return, we'll serve you more stories. Please stay with us.
Thank you for rejoining us. You can watch us live
on our website, www.osrc.ng, or follow us on Facebook at OSRC TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel OSRC TV Ondo. To security now. The Ondo State Amotekun Corps has intensified 24-hour patrols across border communities, stepping up security measures in response to the rising wave of attacks and kidnappings reported across the country. Speaking at the Corps headquarters in Akure, the State Commander Adetunji Adeleye disclosed that operatives have also been deployed to provide security in schools with boarding facilities. The report is by Kunle Ariyo.
Nigeria has in recent months witnessed a warning rise in attacks, kidnappings, and abductions of students living communities across the country unsettled.
In the last 1 week,
in Ondo State, the Amotekun Corps has stepped up patrols in border towns and vulnerable communities, aiming to prevent the spillover of such criminal activities. With the Yulutile season approaching, a period historically targeted by criminals, security operatives are now on high alert, working to protect residents and safeguard schools.
The Corps had commenced full patrol, enhanced patrol of all boarding schools in the state. In the last 1 week, we've visited so many of the schools. We've mounted surveillance on all those schools with boarding facilities, especially the ones in the borders of the state and in the outskirts of the town. We had equally stepped up the activities of our 24/7 patrol.
Highlighting the national security context, Adeleye noted that the federal government has deployed additional security resources to curb the menace of kidnappings, armed robbery, and banditry. Commander Adeleye also paraded 16 suspects arrested for various offenses, noting that 34 arrests were made within the last week under the ongoing security operations in the state. Among the suspects paraded are a group specializing in vandalizing government property, 3 suspected kidnappers, and others arrested for anti-grazing violation, theft, robbery, attempted murder, and POS fraud.
The Operation Leon Jade that we embarked on in the 18 local government of Ondo State has really assisted in driving away miscreants, bandits, kidnappers from our forests. And this exercise is still ongoing.
He stressed that Amotekun remains fully mobilized to secure communities across Ondo State and urged residents to remain vigilant and calm as the festive season draws near. Kunle Aruyo, Osrc News.
Still on security, the Southern Governors Forum has commended President Bola Tinubu's prompt response to recent security threats witnessed in some parts of the country. Governor Dapo Abiodun, who is the chairman of the Southern Governors Forum, explained that the president's decision to personally coordinate rescue efforts rather than delegate responsibility demonstrated a rare commitment to protecting every Nigerian life. At the forum's meeting held in Iperuremo, he contended that at the state level, measures such as mandatory documentation of foreign nationals, dismantling unlawful enclaves, regulating scavenger activities, intensified forest operations, and a crackdown on illegal mining must be pursued with renewed vigor. He stated that the convergence reflects the same spirit of unity and cooperation that guided the forefathers in the old Southern Protectorate long before the 1914 amalgamation. Staying with security, the Senate has called for the immediate amendment of the Terrorism Act, proposing death penalty for offenses bordering on kidnappings and other terrorism-related crimes with no option of fine. Senate has also asked President Bola Tinubu to rejig Nigeria's security architecture for optimal results as it resolves to stand with him in the fight against insecurity. The committees on Defense, Army, Navy, Interior have also been directed to brief the Senate at closed session within 1 week and submit reports to plenary in 2 weeks' time. These formed part of resolutions adopted as Senate debates the recent spike of attacks on soft targets in parts of Nigeria. While debating a motion on the security breaches in Kebbi, Kwara, and Niger states, Senate commended the prompt response of President Tinubu and security operatives and mandated the Joint Senate Committee on Security to investigate observed lapses. The lawmakers also canvassed sharing of intelligence by the U.S. and international community in order to restore safety and peace across communities. Senate also resolved that its leadership should meet with the president and brief him on all resolutions adopted on the issue. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives is to hold a stakeholders engagement and inaugurate its ad hoc committee constituted to investigate the rising insecurity and loss of lives in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, particularly in relation to the closed-circuit television project, CCTV. The engagement, according to House spokesperson Akin Rotimi, aims to obtain clear and verifiable information from all relevant stakeholders regarding the status, implementation, and effectiveness of the CCTV project. The session is scheduled to take place on Thursday, November 27, 2025. Speaking ahead of the inauguration, Chairman of the ad hoc committee, Donald Ojogo, noted the significance of the assignment. The House spokesperson affirmed that the exercise is in line with its constitutional mandate to ensure transparency, safeguard public resources, and protect Nigerian lives. Not leaving security but on the foreign scene, a recent U.S. congressional hearing has spotlighted Nigeria's ongoing security crisis, with intense debate over whether the violence against Christian communities amounts to genocide. The session revealed deep divisions among lawmakers in Washington, reflecting differing opinions on the nature and causes of Nigeria's violence. OSRC's reporter Joy Pius now reports.
Onaksa Onchurak stares at a burned-out apartment building with the conflicting emotions of many Ukrainians who have narrowly escaped death.
I am alive because I was in the room with the balcony. The balcony cushioned the blow a little. Later, I took the dog and we ran it.
Thank you for convening this critical hearing. The crisis in Nigeria demands our clear-eyed attention.
The House Subcommittee on Global Human Rights, chaired by New Jersey Republican Chris Smith, heard testimonies from survivors and advocates accusing Fulani militants of targeted religious persecution against Christians in Nigeria. Witnesses condemned the government's failure to arrest or prosecute the attackers, who continue to operate with near-total impunity.
6 months ago, precisely on 13th March 2025, when I last appeared before this committee, I warned that the situation was there and demanded urgent attention. Tragically, the past half year has proven those warnings understated the continued attack on vulnerable Christian villages by the Fulani ethnic militia and their counterparts, both in the Middle Belt of Nigeria and elsewhere in the country.
Some experts and lawmakers disagreed, cautioning that calling the violence in Nigeria a Christian genocide oversimplifies the complex crisis. They argued that the conflict stems primarily from competition over resources, rampant banditry, and systemic governance failures, rather than pure religious animosity.
First, to the United States government. It's important to engage deeply and broadly with communities across Nigeria. The U.S. can play a constructive role, but it must avoid selective intervention and address the concerns of all Nigerians across all religions to prevent worsening sectarian divisions. 2, it's important to rethink reactive quick-win actions that may seem beneficial to Nigerians, but could have larger and far-reaching negative impacts. If the Trump administration proceeds with unilateral military action in Nigeria, it could endanger the Christians it aims to protect and worsens divisions along religious lines.
You cannot solve problems created by men with guns by turning to men with guns for the solution. And I just would urge us to think about that. This is coming from a former Trump appointee. I think if we were to do this, it would just serve to further radicalize communities and risk turning the aggression of actors like Boko Haram and ISIS West Africa directly to the United States.
Back in Nigeria, citizens and analysts are urging the federal government to treat the hearing's recommendations seriously.
We all are witnesses. We don't need to be hiding certain things. In Kwara State, what happened there? In Benue State, what happened there? Even in Castena, what happened there? So let us be sincerity. And it's not only Christians. Muslims also involved. The international body has to look into it. That is one of the responsibility of UN. Any country that there's problem, they are the one to come and settle it.
The subcommittee promised several measures to address religious freedom violations in Nigeria, including keeping Nigeria on the U.S. country of particular concern list, which could lead to potential sanctions. They also recommend tying American security aid to measurable progress in protecting citizens and prosecuting perpetrators. Additionally, the plan calls for expanding intelligence sharing and counter-terrorism support to strengthen Nigeria's response to violence and religious freedom abuses.
In every community, there will be 10% of people that want to always foment trouble. There will be 10% of people that want to always stick to the path of crime. It is the duty of leadership and government to rally the remaining 90% against the 10% that will always be prone to crime. But in our own case, we have seen that even local communities have bought into crime now. They kidnap in the name of herders, they do all manner of things. We heard the story in Kwara where even a traditional leader was involved in collecting ransom and all of that. So the conversation was necessary. The President of America would not have just said something of that importance, knowing the class and the importance of Nigeria to the black nation without a congregational hearing. But I love the fact that none of the people deny the fact that Nigeria is challenged at the moment.
The Nigerian government swiftly rejected the genocide tag, insisting that the country's security challenges are not religiously targeted. The hearing ended with a bipartisan commitment to maintaining high-level security cooperation, but also a clear warning that the United States will closely monitor whether Nigeria turns promises into action.
I think that if we act on what we know, we act on the intelligence we have, we act on getting the sponsors of Boko Haramism and terrorism in Nigeria, banditry and kidnapping, if we act on giving better welfare to our armed men, if we act on mobilizing the community against crime, if we act on all of these things, it will be very unnecessary for the United States to come in. But the fear of everyone is that, are we ever going to act?
For now, the word genocide hangs heavily over Nigeria's international reputation. How the government responds in the coming months could determine whether U.S. support deepens or begins to fade. Joy Pius, Osrc News.
Elsewhere, Russia and Ukraine have swapped strikes overnight, killing at least 9 people, as teams from Ukraine and the United States sought to rework a ceasefire plan. Officials in Kyiv said Russian missiles and drones targeted Ukraine's capital for yet another night, killing 6 people, with other parts of the country also targeted. To end the news tonight, here again are the major stories. We told you that Ondo State has flagged off an emergency medical services and ambulance system aimed at strengthening rapid healthcare response. You also heard that the Southern Governors Forum has held a strategic meeting in Ogun, focusing on key national issues and regional development. And that's the news tonight. Thank you so very much for being a part of it. Good evening.